Local 3118 and their representative. You have 45 minutes.
Before we get to that, I have a difficulty in the fact that we've been directed to proceed first when, in fact, we have accepted the special master's recommendation. The burden of challenging the recommendation and the person who, the party that disagrees with the recommendation ought to be explaining that to you, as opposed to me explaining why the recommendation
Would you
is okay.
introduce, start off, would you introduce?
Rich Sawicka, Egan Levin Sawicka, 231 East Colonial, Orlando, Florida. I apologize for that. It's just that the normal course of proceeding would not be me explaining why you should accept it until I know why the city manager thinks you shouldn't.
Mr. Sawicka, this information was provided to you on February the 10th. It seems sort of late to raise it now.
Actually, this is not the first time I raise it. In fact, I've raised it in my letter to you on February 2nd, 22nd, indicating that you had unilaterally created procedures that were not bargained for with the union. And so, there we go.
Having said that, Mr. Sawicka, this is the way it's going to be.
Well, we'll make a note of that.
You have 45 minutes.
Master's actual recommendation. I want to talk first about the issue of pension, because as you know, that was a significant issue. Pension and wages are interrelated. It's our position, and the special master adverted to it, particularly at pages 18 through 19 of his decision, that the employer is, in effect, obtaining a wage cut, or originally it was in the form of an increase to benefit contributions of 6%. But the employer slid that over to a wage cut, which was a transparent attempt to cut benefits and increase contributions. And he acknowledged it, in fact, throughout the papers, even papers submitted by the employer itself in this process, acknowledged that what we, as a practical matter, have is pension contribution increases and benefit cuts. And you simply cannot do that, notwithstanding what Jim Lynn, my friend, says, which he may say that. There is simply, it's not proper for you to engage in that kind of a shell game that the city manager actually initiated. We recommend and urge that you accept the special master's detailed proposal in his recommended order with respect to pension. And it's set out on pages 18 and 19 in great detail. And it's a bifurcated system that allows the current employees to not have their benefits cut. And if you look at the last page of the materials I submitted to you, you'll see your own ordinance, which says that when you're vested, you simply cannot have benefits cut. And what the city manager is asking you to do is precisely that. And there may be a debate or not about whether or not somebody's vested or not. The law is a little unclear in some people's minds, but not mine. You are going to be cutting the benefits of employees that are vested if you adopt the employer's recommendation. The special magistrate looked carefully at this issue, and your city manager and representative argued this issue vigorously. And if you look at page 19, you'll see a reference from your own actuary saying, before making any changes to the plan, we request that the city seek guidance about, end of quote, about whether or not these types of changes in this way are permissible by law. And I'm not talking just about increasing benefits through the subterfuge of a wage cut, but rather the whole process by which the cuts have been obtained, not without a vote and without the proper procedure vis-a-vis the pension board and the actuaries. But that's one of many flaws in the employer's pension proposal. The special magistrate further, and this is a guy who knows public sector pension law, he indicates, again on page 19, that the Florida Division of Retirement understands that an increase in member contributions, and when the city became aware of that, the city revised its proposal to reduce employee wage rates by 6%. Again, we have the subterfuge of, oh, we can't cut or we can't increase contributions, so we'll just cut wages. It's a